Cary Stayner was a 37-year-old hotel maintenance guy who saw an opportunity to execute 4 women and acted on it. After doing so, he sent in an anonymous tip to the police, tried to confuse them with planted evidence, and even asked for a movie to be made about him. On February 12, 1999, 42-year-old Carol Sund left her home in Eureka, California to go on a camping trip. She was headed to Yosemite with her 15-year-old daughter, Julie, and a 16-year-old foreign exchange student they were hosting named Sylvina. They first flew to San Francisco, where Carol rented a red 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix. They drove to El Portal, a small town located on Yosemite's western slope. This would be the last time they were ever seen alive. Carol had taken care of the checkout in advance, and her room key was left on the desk in the room, so the maids didn't think much of it. One of the first things officials did when they were notified of the incident was to reach out to the company Carol rented her car from in San Francisco. And they said she never returned the car and didn't contact them to extend her rental or anything. That's when the search for the women ramped up. Several days into the investigation, Carol's wallet was found on a street in Modesto with her money and credit cards still inside. Well, on March 18th, about a month after the disappearance, a hiker was found wandering around the Stanislaus Forest near Yosemite when he saw a burnt car about 300 feet away from Highway 108. It was red 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix. They opened the trunk of the car and found the charred remains of 2 people. A few days later, officials were able to determine through dental records the remains belonged to Carol and Sylvina. But where was Julie? Police officers followed an anonymous letter with a hand-drawn map that depicted the location of Julie's body. Authorities followed the map and found Julie's corpse in an isolated area near Lake Pedro, which was little less than an hour away from where Carol and Sylvina were discovered in the rental car. By the end of June, the FBI stated they were confident their perp was already behind bars, even though no charges had been made. Just when the authorities felt confident in their work, it all was about to fall apart. By the end of 1999, the police got a call from some guy who said he hadn't heard from his friend Joey Ruth Armstrong and that they were supposed to meet up that day. Joey was working for the Yosemite Institute for the past year and lived in this community of 30 cabins where the other park employees stayed. But when the park rangers canvassed the nearby area, they found Joey's lifeless body at the campground right next to the group of cabins. That's when FBI agents were all like, looks like our perp might not be in jail. Not many people were running around Yosemite executing innocent women, so officials realized Joey Slang was probably the same person who committed the crime that took out Carol, Julie, and Sylvina. After speaking with a few witnesses, detectives determined that Joey was last seen July 21st during the day. She was at the Yosemite Institute offices and expressed plans to travel to Sausalito, California to see her friends. One of the suspects from the previous crime that I hadn't yet mentioned is a 37-year-old dude named Cary Stayner. He was brought in for questioning in Carol, Julie, and Sylvina's cases, but the investigators found that there was no evidence to link him to the crime. FBI agents were revisiting all of the previous suspects in the Yosemite crimes. They decided to look into Cary again, and a witness reported seeing a blue 1979 International Scout parked outside of Joey's cabin, the same color, make, and model that Cary drove. By the end of the interview, FBI agents didn't have any incriminating evidence to keep Cary detained, so they let him go and told him not to go out of town. Now, shortly after releasing Cary, detectives searched his apartment and found evidence that linked him to both cases. But when officers came to arrest him on July 23rd, he was long gone. Against the advice of the detectives, Cary skipped town. Thankfully, 2 FBI agents were able to track him down pretty quickly. On the car ride to the station, Cary must have known there was no way out because he confessed to killing Joey right then and there. The moment he made it into the interrogation room, he admitted to executing Carol, Julie, and Sylvina. At the end of the trial, Cary pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. His lawyers pinned the crimes on his OCD, paraphilia, and mild autism. But the jury was like, nah, bruh, you're guilty. In 2002, Cary was convicted on all 4 counts of first-degree manslaughter and subjected to the ultimate penalty. So I guess he's just gonna sit in jail and reflect on his actions until the court order is lifted or until Cary passes away. Wish people would put their energy into something better and less violent. Like eating granola bars, because that is literally what's on my agenda for the rest of the day. See you guys next time.